Hi guys, welcome back to my channel Lush Gardener. So somebody had asked me this question, if we do a cutting of a succulent, can we right away put it into the soil? Now guys, I would say it's up to you. If you want to experiment, of course you can do that, but if you're going to ask my advice, as I've said, I always try to take the utmost precaution as much as I can when it comes to succulents. So if I have to do this, I will definitely not put it directly into the soil. Even if the soil is completely bone dry, I wouldn't cut the succulent directly and put it into the soil. Now I'll give you a quick example. I have a Graptosedum ghosty over here, and you can see it's doing quite well. There is no issue that I have to cut the stem, but just for this video I'll be doing it. Now of course I don't need a knife for this because the stem is very delicate, very thin, so I'm just going to break it into half. There we go. Now this portion I'm going to put it back into the soil like this, with the root area inside the soil and this portion above the soil. Alright, now over here we have the cutting. Definitely I'm not going to take this cutting and put it directly into the soil. If you want to do that, you can do that, you're free to do that, but whenever I'm giving an advice, I try to give the most safest option, and the safest option over here is to let it callus. Keep it aside for 2 to 3 days, let it callus, and then if you want, you can wait for them to air root, or you can put them directly into the soil after they have calloused. Don't put it right away. Now I know a lot of times I have made this video and I've not shown you the complete process, but luckily I have 3 of the succulents over here. If you remember, these 2 cuttings are of my friend. I had done the cutting. Basically, the stem was very elongated and I had to do a cutting. If you haven't watched that video, I'll put the link in the description below. But for time being, I'll give you the quick clip of what I had done to this 2 of these beheadings. I had done a cutting because the stem was very long. As you can see, it was stretched. So I had gone ahead and done the cutting, and I had kept them on a dry surface to callus. Now I prefer to let them air root and then put them into the soil. So after they were done callousing, you can see this is how they tend to look like. These are the new roots. A little bit of dark portion over here, it's absolutely fine. That is not rot. You can see there are a lot of healthy roots on that. If it was rot, there wouldn't be any roots on it, and apart from that, it is very stiff. So it is not rot. Basically it has dried up. Same thing goes with this one. You can see absolutely beautiful set of roots. Now all we have to do is just take it and very gently push it into the soil, not too deep, just a little bit, and cover it up with soil. We do not want to put a lot of pressure on those new roots because they are very fragile. I would say they are baby roots. They can easily break if you're going to put a lot of pressure. Same thing with this one. Make a little dent in the soil and cover them up. This one, if you remember, it was the recent one. Remember that 1 year mother plant stem cutting. This was the pup that was growing in the side. It already had aerial roots, and now this portion is dried out. You can see it's calloused, and these are the aerial roots. So even this one is ready to be put into the soil. So I'm going to push it gently into the soil, and that's about it. So we are done with our potting of the stem cuttings with aerial roots. Talking about watering, I won't be watering them right away. I will give them at least 2 to 3 days of time for them to get watered. I know these 2 are slightly wrinkled. They are a little bit dehydrated, but that's absolutely fine. Once when we water, they will revive back. Right now we are not going to water it right away. If I want to water, I can water them after 2 days as well. It's absolutely okay, but don't water them immediately after repotting. We have to let the roots and the succulent adjust in the new soil. And this one, as I said, I'm going to keep it aside. I will wait for it to callus, and after which I will again wait for a couple of days, probably a week or maybe more, for it to get some air roots. The moment I see even 2 or 3 of air roots, I will push it back into this soil, and that's about it. So you can see, guys, it's pretty simple. Again, guys, it's all up to you. If you want to experiment, you're all free to experiment with your succulents. But whenever you're seeking any advice from me, I'll try to give you the safer option, which is keeping them out of the soil for at least 2 to 3 days for them to callus. Then it depends upon you if you want to put it into the soil or if you want them to air root, because until and unless there are no roots on the stem, we cannot water or we cannot add moisture to the soil. But I know some of you might say that let us put the stem without roots into the soil and add moisture, probably then the roots will appear. There could be a case that the roots might appear, or there could be a case wherein the stem might start to rot. So there is a 50-50 chance. So it all depends upon you whether you want to take the 50-50 chance or just be on the safer side and not add any moisture to the soil. So the best and the safest option is let it be outside, let it get some air roots, and then put it into the soil. Maybe after 2 or 3 days you can go ahead and water the pot. Now the remaining part of the stem that we had done the cutting, the mother stem, what we'll do is we will put that into the soil, the roots into the soil and the stem upwards, completely fill it up with soil, and we are going to leave it as it is. Again, with this, need to be careful with this upper portion. If that comes in contact with water, then the entire stem will start to turn darker in color and will have a stem root. Or we can just leave it as it is. Probably in a week, 2 weeks or 3 weeks, there will be small tiny pups coming up on this. Now regarding the watering for this, we can do a little bit of watering, bottom watering, because we want to keep the roots alive. We do not want to dehydrate the roots. And once we start noticing pups coming up on this, then we can do a complete watering. Now the process remains the same. Whenever you see the soil is completely bone dry is when you are going to water, even if the pups are small or big. We cannot do a regular watering, because remember, succulent roots are not like our regular plant roots. They can get easily rotted with the excess moisture. So let the soil get completely bone dry. Probably you can wait for a couple of days and then you can go ahead and do a watering. So guys, that's all about it. I hope that this video was helpful to you. If it was, please hit the like button, and if you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing to it. Until then, take care, stay safe, and keep propagating.